Welcome to the YouTube live book reading of The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality by Dr. Cheikh Anta. I'm your moderator and narrator, Uriel Riley, and peace. Welcome. Divine Days. 529. Wishing all great health, love, and peace to all of you. This is the 16th reading and edition of this book. So it's going to be good. I'm excited. We pick up on page 103. Welcome. For all that are reading along, I will put a brief vocabulary in the description of the video when it's finished uploading and we are complete. So, Divine Rising, I'm wishing you have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Happy soul return to the magnificent Isis K.M. Riley. 20 years young. Wow. I'm so proud of you. I love you so much. Yeah. Sending you love. All right. Here we go. Page 103, down at the bottom, we pick up in this 5th chapter. The term inventor applied to Sir Leonard Woolley, who discovered these tombs, proves that the word royal could not be justified except as a working hypothesis. On the contrary, the most ancient kings of Elam were blacks, without the slightest doubt, as attested by monuments exhumed by De La Foy, or De La Foy. Many other marvels were about to be revealed, and we went from one surprise to another. In the demolition of the Sassanid wall made of the most ancient materials available locally, monuments were found dating back to the Elamite period of Susa's history. In other words, earlier than the capture of this fortress by Ashurbanipal. But here we must yield the floor to Dialophor. On removing a tomb placed across a raw brick wall, which was part of the fortifications of the Elamite Gate, the workers uncovered a funeral urn. The urn was encased in a masonry covering, composed of enameled bricks. These came from a panel depicting a personage superbly dressed in a green robe with yellow and blue-white embroidery. He wore a tiger skin and carried a cane or a golden spear. Most surprising of all, the personage whose lower jaw, beard, neck, and hand I found was black. His lips were thin, his beard thick, the embroidery of archaic style seemed to be the work of Babylonian artisans. In other Sassanid walls built of earlier materials were found glazed bricks revealing 2 feet shod in gold, a very well-shaped hand, a wrist covered with bracelets. The fingers held one of those long canes that became the emblem of the sovereign power under the Archimedes. A piece of the robe bore the coat of arms of Susa, partly hidden under a tiger's skin. Finally, a flowered fringe on a brown background. His head and feet were black. It was even evident that the whole decoration had been designed to blend with the dark complexion of the face. Only powerful personages had the right to carry long canes and wear bracelets. Only the governor of a fortified post could have his image embroidered on his tunic. Yet the owner of the cane, the master of the citadel, was black. It is therefore highly probable that Elam was ruled by a black dynasty, and judging by the features of the face already described, an Ethiopian dynasty. Hmm. Peace. Oh, that's powerful, right? I know. I'm so excited. I'm loving this, loving it. All right, here we go. Middle of page 104 for those reading along. Divine Days and Nights. The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality by Dr. Cheikh Anta. That's what we're reading, edited and translated by Mercer Cook. And we're in the 5th chapter. Half a century later, the findings of Dr. Contino confirmed Dialafoy's conclusions on the role played by the Black race in Western Asia. First, he recalled the opinion of the quatrophages and Hami on the ethnic types represented on Assyrian monuments. The Susian, in particular, a probable product of some mixture of Cushite and Negro with his relatively flat nose, dilated nostrils, prominent cheekbones, and thick lips, is a racial type well observed and well depicted. Next, he reports House's classification of the present population, probably composed of 3 strata, one of which is thus described. Ariano Negroids corresponding to the ancient Susians who for the most part were blacks, a race of short Negroes with slight cranial capacity. The Ariano Negroids are brachycephalic and not dolichocephalic like large Negroes. They are found in Japan, islands of Malaysia, and the Philippines and New Guinea. Although this classification may be slightly modified, the place it assigns to the Negroes is to be retained. By their existence, we can explain the presence among the Persian archers portrayed in colored brick of black warriors who, however, do not have the ethnic characteristic of Negroes. Without exaggerating the importance of this element, it does not seem their presence in ancient Elam can be doubted. The early Negro background of ancient Elam sheds new light on certain verses of the Gilgamesh epic, a Babylonian Cushite poem. Father Enlil, Lord of the countries. Father Enlil, Lord of the true word. Father Enlil, Pastor of the blacks. In this epic, Anu, the primitive god, father of Ishtar, has the same Negro name as Osiris, the Onian. The goddess Ishtar took the floor and spoke thus to the god Anu, her father, verses 92 and 93. We have already seen that according to Amelino, the Anu were the first blacks to inhabit Egypt. A number of them remained in Arabia Petraea throughout Egyptian history. The Negro Anu is thus an historical fact, not a mental concept or a working hypothesis. We can also report the existence, even today, of an Ani or Agni people in the Ivory Coast. The names of the kings are preceded by the title Aman, as has been noted earlier. The chronology of Victor Christian, who relies on Kugler's astronomical calculations, dates the start of the First Ur dynasty between 2600 and 2580, which would thus also be the period of the so called royal tombs. The official date adopted until now, for no special reason, wavers between 3,100 and 3,000. In actual fact, the choice of 3,100 results from no necessity but that of synchronizing Egyptian and Mesopotamian chronology. Since Egyptian history, according to the most modern estimate, starts in 3,200, it becomes indispensable out of solidarity to make Mesopotamia history begin at about the same time, even if all known historical facts about that region can fit into a much shorter period. Alluding to Christian's estimate, Contino writes, "What must we think of these new figures? In themselves, they seem to allow sufficient time for the historical events. Nevertheless, he is careful not to adopt the chronology for two reasons." Peace. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, we're pushing towards 700 subs on this peaceful part of YouTube where we read books and learn from masters. And I'm Master Fitness Trainer, Uriel Riley. Thank you for being here on this divine day. We are flying through, right? It's awesome. Yeah, I gotta be on set early today. So I was like, you know, I'll come on and post reading for tomorrow and make sure that we get it in so you have that piece. Because we're going to be celebrating Bubbles' solar return. She's turning 20. So, yeah, just wanted to preface it. Thank you so much for your support and reading along with us, the book lovers community here. Hmm. Yeah. Oh, man. So we're getting there. Nevertheless, he is careful not to adopt that chronology for two reasons. The first is that the aforementioned calculation of astronomical phenomenon, which ought to be a fixed standard, is subject to variation. The second reason is that the extra short chronology does not take neighboring civilizations into account. It is difficult to explain how Egyptian civilization, which Egyptologists in the most moderate estimates start about 3100 BCE, could have preceded Mesopotamian history by 600 years. The relationships existing between Asia and Egypt in the proto-historical epic are an established fact. They become inexplicable as the advance of Minoan or Cretan civilization would be if these new figures were adopted. The proposal seems hardly acceptable. I believe that Mr. Christian's very interesting study leads to an admissible conclusion only if a parallel study can cause a similar reduction in the starting date of Egyptian and Aegean civilizations. In another work published in 1934, Dr. Contino insists a general solidarity exists that must be taken into account. The historical period opens at approximately the same time in Egypt and Mesopotamia. Nevertheless, Egyptologists generally refuse to fix the date of Menes, founder of the first dynasty, at later than 3200 BCE. From these texts, it is clear that the synchronizations of Egyptian and Mesopotamian history is a necessity resulting from ideas, not from facts. The motivating idea is to succeed in explaining Egypt by Europeans, or by Mesopotamia, that is, by Western Asia, the original habitat of Indo Europeans. The foregoing demonstrates that if we remain within the realm of authentic facts, we are forced to view Mesopotamia as a belatedly born daughter of Egypt. The relationships of proto history do not necessarily imply the synchronization of history in the two countries. To conclude this section, we can ponder this passage from Lovat Dickinson, quoted by Marcel Brion. 30 years ago, the name Sumer meant nothing to the public. Today, there is something called the Sumerian problem, a subject for controversy and constant speculation among archaeologists, referring to Persian monuments. Diodorus writes that they were built by Egyptian workers, forcibly carried off by Cambyses or Cambyses, the Vandal. Cambyses set fire to all of the temples in Egypt, and that was when the Persians, transporting all the treasures to Asia and even kidnapping some Egyptian workmen, built the famous palaces of Persepolis or Persepolis, Susa, and several other cities in Media. According to Strabo, Susa had been founded by a Negro, Tithonus, king of Ethiopia and father of Memnon. In fact, it is claimed that Susa was founded by Tithonus, Memnon's father, and that his citadel bore the name Memnomium or Memnonium. The Susians are also called Scythians, and Aeschylus or Aeschylus calls Memnon's mother Sissia. Sissia reminds us of Sissy, or an African family name. We'll pause right here. Jimmy, let's keep going. Yeah. Thank you so much for the likes and subs. Also, divine days and nights. Appreciate y'all. Hi, sorry. We're on page 107 for those reading along. Fine days and nights. Thank you so much for being here. Phoenicia, the man found in Canaan in prehistoric times. The Natufian was a Negroid. The Capsian tool industry, which doubtless came from North Africa to that region, was also of Negroid origin. In the Bible, when the first white races reached the place, they found a black race there, the Canaanites, descendants of Canaan, brother of Mesoram, the Egyptian, and Cush, the Ethiopian, and sons of Ham. The Lord said to Abram, leave your country, your kinfolk, and your father's house for the land which I will show you. Abraham went away as the Lord had commanded him, and Lot went with him. Abraham took Sarah, his wife, Lot, his brother's son, all the property they had acquired, and the persons they had got in Haran, and they departed for the land of Canaan. When they came to the land of Canaan, Abraham passed through the land to the sacred place of Shechem, near the plain of Moreh. At that time, the Canaanites were in the land. After many ups and downs, the Canaanites and the white tribe symbolized by Abraham and his descendants, Isaac's lineage, blended to become, in time, the Jewish people of today. So Hemer and his son Shechem went to the gate of their city and spoke to their fellow citizens. These men, they said, are friendly. Let them dwell with us and trade in the land, since there is ample room for them. Let us marry their daughters and give them our daughters to marry. Those few lines, which seem to be a ruse, nonetheless reveal the economic imperatives which at that time were to govern relationships between white invaders and black Canaanites. Phoenician history is therefore incomprehensible only if we ignore the biblical data according to which the Phoenicians, in other words, the Canaanites, were originally Negroes already civilized, with whom nomadic, uncultured white tribes later mixed. We'll pause right here with this amazing book reading of the African origin of civilization, myth or reality. So now, woo, this is so good. Awesome. Look at this. We are flying through it. All right. Thank you so much for reading with us. Being in this peaceful part of YouTube, reading books. I wish you're having a wonderful, wonderful day and that you're shining your light to all those that you encounter. The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality by Dr. Cheikh Anta Diop, and edited and translated by Mercer Cook. Thank you so much for reading with us. Fine days and nights. It's going to be a great one, right? Awesome. Thank you so much for the subs. Much appreciation. Yeah, we're making it happen, and that's what's important. See, and I'm going to give you a gem right here. Let's do it. So, the whole construct of racism that we have, modern racism, it stems from people really just wanting to feel like they're better than someone. Right? That's where it comes from. It's literally a monstrous delusion. And so people want to say that they are better than someone, or they inherently have um, an advantage in some way, when it couldn't be the most further thing from the truth, especially where we are. Like I said in Live and Learn, and some of my other poems, but especially say it in It's a Hard Concept as well. But the truth is often the opposite. Surprise. And so I'm going to display exactly and put a stop to any pondering or doubt that you have of why and what I really mean in saying the truth is often the opposite. So, this is going to symbolize what I mean by it, right? These are two battery packs. Now, this resembles black skin or brown skin, which is what? Red and green makes brown. Now, this is lighter, very low melanated or white skin, right? Now, which one fills up faster? Power. They're both battery packs, but which one fills up faster? This, right? Because capacity is not as large. And that's the whole idea and understanding are melanocytes, right? It's what 2% of our makeup is those melanocytes within the skin. And we have three parts of our skin. We have the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis. And those melanocytes are in those in that dermis. So people say, "Oh, black people are vitamin D deficient a lot," right? And I'll show you exactly why. Because our capacity for the sun, because we're natural born to this planet, we're natural. Like I said, green, like chlorophyll, and red, like our blood, make brown. It's natural. So unless we are getting massive amount of sun, this is going to take a long time to charge up, right? Now, this, on the other hand, this is like white skin or very pinkish light skin. So this going to go out in the sun, and it's going to take the charge like that because its capacity isn't as large, and that's what we're dealing with. So, like I said, it's all a monstrous myth about recessive traits being a dominant race. Blonde hair, blue eyes, all that stuff. That's literally all the way down the line. It's like great great grandchildren of the original races of this planet. And so, the truth is the truth. That's just the way it is. You know, you're not going to be in the hot sun building huge mirror or pyramids all together and be a light skinned color. Your capacity, like we would show you, would go like that. You would be burnt up. You would have cancer like that. So I'm so grateful and thankful to give you that understanding. And remember, there's no one more divine than you on this planet. Shake it up on YouTube to let you know that there is no one on this planet that is more divine than you. And so don't let anyone think because their skin color that they have that they're better than you. It's the furthest thing from the truth. Okay? See, masters like me, I can tell through the vascularity. I can tell the way someone walks if they are actually coordinated. I can tell by the way someone bobs their head if they actually have rhythm. And you know, so don't let people's words take you off of reality because that's all they want to do, especially racist people. They literally want to gaslight you into thinking you're not good enough in any way, in any capacity. That's how it happens. They'll say, you don't really kind of fit into this, or we're looking for somebody that has more attributes in this or whatever. But really, they're saying it because they don't like you or your color, and you have to be able to see through it. I can see through it. That's why I've been able to manipulate my way to the world of freedom that I have now, because I see right through that. It's like I've been born with an innate gift of being able to see racists like that and detect it in people's words, how they treat other people, how they look at other people, and so on and so forth. And so racism is all designed to gaslight the other people into thinking that they're inferior than you. All right. Highest heart, love, and honor. Let's have a glass of love water. All those solar returns, all our friends and family, people that we care about. I love you. Thank you so much for honoring us. That blue cloud last night, oh, so powerful. Such great rest. All right. Have a wonderful day. Going out to the work world. Here we go. On set, and then a couple healing sessions. I will see you soon. I love you. I love you. Love you. I love you. Have a wonderful day. You're doing it right. Changing the world one day at a time. Making it a better place. Eyes on. Ay, 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 ay. Love, 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 love you. Peace, Jay. What up, Jordan? We made it. Happy soul return, King. Love you, man. I love you. Thank you so much. Remember, I was just giving gems about racism and how the whole thing is designed to make you not love yourself and want to be something outside of yourself. Gaslight you, try to make you think you're not good enough. So we're passing on the torch. Divine rising. Ay, 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 love, love you, you. You know, because I love myself. You have a wonderful day. We will see you soon. Stay up, stay strong. Remember, stay focused. Peace, peace.